I'm back. I'm back. Hopefully this time my network will not give me challenges. Later on I was live, but my network was really giving me issues. But hopefully now that load shedding is no more for today, then I'm hoping that everything will go as planned. I had scheduled to come back around 7 o'clock. However, I had difficulties, but nonetheless, I am back. I am back. So, for the purpose of understanding what I'm talking about, I'm going to start from scratch. Basically, the screen that you are looking at right now. This is a book cover called Blackroots Science book. It's a book that speaks about everything from African spirituality to African cosmology, African beliefs, the creation story. It speaks about the creation of the universe, the creation of basically the natural aspect of life, the spiritual aspect of life, the physical aspect of life, and everything that basically requires in-depth understanding. So this book, the good thing about this book is that it's free. You don't really have to buy it, or you don't have to get it in stores or what. No, all you have to do is to search for this name, Blackroots Science. This book, you can actually be able to download it into your device. It's free of charge. I had earlier on. I mean, I gave a highlight about the author of the book being unknown. The author of the book is unknown. The author simply what he did is wrote the book and posted it online for everyone to access it. That was it. That is basically what the author did. The notion behind his actions, for me, is justified. And the simple justification of his of the actions of the author to specifically choose to be anonymous is for the mere fact that are you aware, or are we aware? In fact, most of us are aware of the secrecy behind African cultural aspects. African traditions, African beliefs, African knowledge is basically limited to specific individuals. So the notion or the idea behind the actions of the author is justified as so. As, like, for example, the secret society, the knowledge within the secret society is limited to a few individual people who are granted that privilege to engage within those things. And once you enter that space, you are not liable, not necessarily liable. I mean, you are not allowed to divulge who you were with or what you did, or to basically take out the information you found within the system. So that is the notion behind the author's intention to publish the book, and then after publishing the book, the author chose to remain anonymous for those specific reasons. That is what the author did. So they asked this question earlier on as to why this book wasn't didn't have the author's name. However, the author is Mudimuntu. And what is Mudimuntu? Mudimuntu is basically a black god. So it doesn't necessarily specify the name of the author, because he is then, or she is then, classifying or identifying the book as a black people's book, as a black people's book, written book, basically Mudimuntu, so a black god. So the book, like I said, it's free. You can download it. So I'm going to basically give you a highlight. What's going to happen is that what is intended to happen from this live is I want to summarize the book. But before I summarize the book, I'm going to read the contents of the book, the table of contents. Then I'm going to read the table of content in order to give you an idea of what is contained within the book. And then after reading the table of contents, then I'm going to read the summary. And as I continue to read, then I will explain what I'm reading. I'm going to just focus on the summary and reading the table of contents. So, but firstly, I'm going to start with reading the table of contents. Then once I've read the table of contents, then I'm going to enter into reading the summary. Then that will be done. I'm hoping this will take about an hour or 30 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes at least. So this 1 hour 30 minutes is going to be 1 hour 30 minutes of your time. Then when you go online to download the book, at least you'll have knowledge of what you're going to be downloading, so that you can know if it will pique your interest or not. However, I can guarantee you that it's going to pique your interest. This book is very interesting. And it has two volumes. The current volume that I'm going to be focusing on is the second volume. There is a first volume. Now this is going to be the first volume, and mostly the second volume is the one that is usually accessible online. So let me start with reading the table of contents. I'm reading the table of contents as I look at the book in front of me. So number one, table of content 1 is summary. That is what we are going to be focusing on. Hence, reading and discussing the summary is the topic you are looking at on your screen right now. So number 1 of the table of contents is summary. And then number 2 of the table of contents is introduction to level 1. Then number 3 of the introduction is introduction to physics and astronomy. So the book describes the physics and the astronomy concepts, the natural physics and the natural astronomy of the concept of nature. And that is number 3. Number 4, the book focuses on the solar system and atom. The solar system, as in as we've been introduced to the solar system in our geography book and in our geography education. The sun, the planets, the sun. Yes, the planets that follow that follows the sun. That is basically our solar system. The book enters into detail about giving description of what actually solar system is about. But this book was written by a black person. Please be mindful. This book was written by a melanated person. Hence, the author named himself Mudimuntu. Then, so getting access to this book, you are going to then understand what black people understand in terms of nature, in terms of everything that surrounds you, in terms of everything that connects you, in terms of everything that makes you who you are. I was on number 4. That is the solar system and the atom. Number 5, the universe. So the book enters into detail about what the universe is, what makes up the universe, and all the information that is required to understand what the universe is. The book also, number 6, the separation distance of stars and atoms. When you look above, when you look up and see the stars, you see the distance between the stars. This book details the distance between that distance between the stars and the atoms. Number 7, the size of the earth, the size of the universe. So it also explains the size of the earth. It also explains the size of the universe. What is good about this book is that we are not necessarily we are being given this knowledge and this information from a black person's point of view. You see, most mainstream knowledge that we have access to is written by white people. So this book is actually giving us a perspective in terms of the knowledge held within black people's traditional livings and beliefs and everything. So yes, the size of the universe. And then number 7. Number 8, the creation of the universe. So it also dives into detail about how the universe was created. This is basically one of the most, if not top questions people ask. They want to understand how the universe was created, because the current knowledge that we have, we are only given a glimpse or a snapshot of the Big Bang Theory. However, this book enters into detail about how the universe was created. Number 9, the society of the black nation. What makes up the black nation? What is a black nation? This book details what actually is a black nation. What makes up the black nation? What societies can be found within the black nation? That is number 9. Number 10, the mystery of the soulmates. I gave an earlier example of, have you ever thought someone was your soulmate, or heard of someone saying this is my soulmate and things like that? This book actually explains where this notion soulmate comes from. That is number 10. The number 11, the lifespan of ancient black people. The key word here is ancient. Ancient people, as according to how the movies depict them and describe them, they don't live the age that we live in reality. So the idea behind the depictions of movies of people living longer years than expected, or than years that we currently live, is actually given into detail and described within this book as to how is that possible, and as to, is it really true that people could live up to so far. For example, when I read this book actually said that the average age of a person to exist is actually 200 years. It's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe, because at this point we no longer see people who live up to 200 years. However, there are people who actually, especially black people. Remember that black people have more lifespan than any other race. Black people live longer. Hence, we don't age as the way other races age. We age slower. And in our aging is slower, but not in numbers. So this book explains as to how is that a possibility, and also explains ancient how ancient people actually ancient black people actually aged and lived their lifespan. This book gives knowledge about that. That is number 11. And number 12, the book focuses on chemistry as well, introduction of chemistry. Number 13, the first and second laws of magnetic attraction. The sub content of this number 13 is the creation of new stars, how new stars were created, and the 7 forms of matter, the 7 forms of matter. So this book also focuses on this topic. Number 14, the expansion of God's mind. This book will tell you what God is, but to give you a glimpse or or an idea of what this book is God. This book explains God as a black person. This book basically gives a description that God is a reflection that you see within the mirror, which is actually you. This book gives detail about that. This book is not it's not a religious book. It's not a traditional book. It's a natural book. It basically focuses on the natural aspect of life. That is number 14, the expansion of God's mind. So basically, the subclause within this number 14 within this content is the construction of the universe, the source of natural laws. So this book dives into detail about those aspects. Number 15, biology and genetics. Biology and genetics. So it also focuses on biology and genetics as well. Number 16, the causes of illnesses. The causes of illness. The reason why we get sick. Basically, like I was saying earlier on, there was a doctor, an American doctor, who, Dr. Sebi, he basically came up with a cure of HIV, how to cure cancer, how to cure everything. I'm sure if you don't know him, please look him up, Dr. Sebi. He was talking about how the reason why we are getting sick. The reason why we are getting sick is through the consumption of the foods that we are eating. The foods that we are eating. Basically, anything that enters your body, especially if it's not if it's not natural, is the reason why you are getting sick. This book will tell you what makes you sick and how to actually stop being sick. This book, that is number 16. Number 17, the 10-stage initiation process. Every black person who understands their culture, they understand that there is a ritual within the black nation. However, and this is a big however, there are specific traditional initiation processes that we are supposed to engage within as black people, and those initiations are specified within those nations, within those initiations, onto why is it that we are supposed to engage within those initiations and everything. This book will tell you what those initiations are. Basically, what is an initiation? An initiation is an activity that you participate in that will contribute to your extension of knowledge, for example. Hence, our young brothers and sisters go into the mountain to get initiated, and then when they come back, we don't perceive them as the way they left. We actually perceive them as new and developed individuals. So basically, this book will tell you which initiations we are supposed to engage in, like the way Ubaba Credo Muta was telling us that he was part of, he went through particular initiations that contributed towards his spiritual awakening. So this book wants to highlight the importance of of engaging within initiations. I'm pretty sure that most people understand what I'm talking about. And number 18, the final graduation. So basically, once we've initiated, then we graduate. For example, a school system is an initiation. Hence, we engage within that process and then we graduate at the end of the year. It's an initiation. So there are natural or cultural initiations that we are supposed to engage, that we are supposed to participate in as a people. So those initiations are discussed within this book. So the true initiation, because remember that culture now is distorted. Culture now is diluted. Culture now is messed up. So the book tries to bring us back into what really culture is and the processes in which we are supposed to engage in those initiations. That is number 18. So I'm at number 19. And then the book also has test questions and answers. When he was writing, or when she was writing this book, some people were emailing him. Some people, I don't know how they were communicating, either maybe via social media or however. However, there are questions that he was asked or she was asked within the book. So he or she actually wrote those questions that people were asking him, and then he wrote them as they were, and then provided the answers within those questions. So you will get to understand. You will get to see what other people wanted to know that he or she answered, and then provided clarity. Maybe it would be some of the questions that you wanted clarity on. That is number 19. Sorry. Then number 20, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or the Mother, the Daughter, and Divine Life. That is the Holy Trinity. It dives deep into what a Holy Trinity is, not the current bogus Holy Trinity that is introduced to us by foreign people. So it dives into what Holy Trinity is. And then number 21, it also dives within the true teachings of Jesus. The meaning behind the existence of Jesus. There is a meaning behind the existence of Jesus. From an African perspective, however, not from this book focuses on an African perspective. So it will focus on it tries to explain actually what Jesus from an African perspective is. So the book also explains such a thing, which then number 21, Introduction to Mathematics, the African way of mathematics. The book will introduce you to such thing. And it also, number 23, 7, the number of completion. It will at least provide you with an understanding of the reason why we have 7 days of the week. It will explain to you why is it that we have 7 days within our week. Then number 24, the book also has number 24 is 12, the number of tribes. 12, the number of tribes. So basically the world was founded by 12 tribes. The book dives into those tribes. Hence today, for an example, Bantu people are part of the 12 tribes of the of the worlds, the 12 tribes of the world. Bantu people and Dogons are part of are the two remaining 12. Are the two remaining tribes of the 12 tribes of the original of the world. Hence, we are able. Hence, today, Bantu people are found in Africa. But let me not dive into this because you will read, and then it will explain to you. Once I try to dive into it, it's going to take time, and I'm not going to finish. However, Bantu people and Dogon people are the two remaining tribes within the 12 tribes of the original tribes, and the 10 tribes got lost. Hence, that is the reason why today we have what we call the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Let me leave it there, but then you will get the knowledge within the book. That was number 24. And number 25, the 7 fundamental numbers. The most sacred number. It explains why 7 is a sacred number. There, like I said, it explains why we have numbers. We have 7 days of the week. Ever wondered why is it that we have 7 days of the week? You'll get that answer, don't worry, within the book. That is number 25. Then number 26, cosmology. An African perspective of cosmology. What is it that Africans believe in cosmology? If you are following me, if you are following me, then you've probably seen videos that I posted on my page of African cultures tracing back their origins into the cosmos. The Tswana people trace their origin into the cosmos. The Bapedi, they trace their knowledge. They trace their origin into the cosmos. The Zulu people trace their knowledge into the cosmos. The Dogon people trace their knowledge into the cosmos. So basically, black people trace their knowledge into the cosmos. The book dives in detail as to why that is. That is number 26. Number 27, the creation of time. How time was created. How time was created. Why time was created. The book explains. Number 28, the 7 tiers of suns. As in like the black holes. The book also focuses on the description of what a black hole is. What a black hole is. The book also explains. Number 29, the first appearance of light. In the Bible, God said, "Let there be light." Again. So that process, that moment, the book touches. It's not a Bible. This is not a Bible. Take notice. This is not a Bible. But the book also, the book speaks about the first appearance of light, the settling of new earths, the setting of new earths. When God said, "Let there be light," there was a setting up of new earths. The book will explain to you what that is. The book also speaks about, I'm at number 13. It speaks about reincarnation. It explains what reincarnation is. It explains spiritual and biological ancestry. Because one of the videos that I posted here, it was a very controversial video of an elder speaking about what ancestors are. So this book explains what ancestors, what spiritual and biological ancestry is. The book also speaks, number 31, sorry. The book also speaks about ascension. The ancient and modern forms of ascension, the new heavens of Yahweh. The book touches what Yahweh is. Then number 32, sorry, it has questions as well, questions and answers. Number 33 focuses on the true Israelites, the chosen people of Yahweh. The chosen people of Yahweh. That is number 34. Number 35, the rapture. Basically what a rapture is, people are waiting. Okay, in Christianity, they said they are waiting for Jesus to come back. That process, the coming back of Jesus, is called rapture. This book explains. It's not talking about Jesus. Please be mindful. It's not talking about Jesus specifically, but it's talking about that process in which there is an anticipation of the coming back of a Messiah. So this book speaks about that particular event, but not from a Christian perspective, from an African perspective. Number 36. So number 35. Okay, the rapture is number 35. Number 36, the ego. Unless they are born again. In inverted commas, unless they are born, they is in inverted commas. The people who are doing atrocities onto this earth, the people who are messing up this earth, this chapter speaks to them as to, unless you are born again. And remember, please, do not associate the term born again only with religion. That is a common mistake that is made. It's not only associated with religion. To be born again is to be renewed, to change. Someone who has changed their ways of doing things is a born again. You don't really necessarily have to be Christian to do that or religious to do that. You can be a thief today and tomorrow wake up and decide, no, I don't want to steal anymore. And when you do that, you wouldn't be in when you took that decision, you were not in church. Therefore, you are born again. Number 37 talks about more questions. Number 38 talks about introduction to level 2. These levels, you will get them as to what they are. Number 39, the curriculum. Number 40, innovation. Number 41, guidelines. Number 42, lessons. The what you need to do to go back into your original self. I was on number 41. Okay, I was on number 42, sorry. Number 43 talks about the fireside ritual. Remember that as a black person, most from when we were growing up, you used to sit around the fire and then listen to elderly people talking. and then they would explain to us what was what was what. That was a really, really nice time. That is missing today anyway. Because today what we are doing, today's generation, really they are missing out. Honestly speaking, today's generation, they are missing out. So the book explains how important it was, and it is to sit around that thing. It was the process in which we were actually sitting there and receiving that knowledge from elderly people. That was a ritual. So today it's a missing ritual, because, like I said, today's youth is really missing out on this important ritual, because we gained much knowledge from just sitting around in the warmth of fire and then receiving great knowledge from elders, from our elders. I was on number 43. Number 44. You know what the book gave me a highlight on is that, in particular, from the reincarnation part, the book specifically said that we existed since forever. So as part of our existence, we have been experiencing so much memories, so much personalities. And those experiences, all those experiences that we've been experiencing, for every time we are born, like for an example, when a baby is born, it's a new baby. But it's not necessarily a new baby. It's a new baby in terms of body. But the consciousness of the baby is actually ancient. Why am I saying it's ancient? I'll give an example. Did you notice a baby when a baby is sleeping? A baby smiles. A baby laughs. A baby cries. A baby resembles reactions on their face. Okay? I'll go in even further. I'll go even deeper. One, memory. When a baby is smiling, it's reacting from emotions. Emotions come from memories. Memories come from experience. So those things, in order to experience, you have to exist. In order to experience, that is the only way you will be able to experience. Then once you've existed, you will be able to have memories, and once you have memories, you'll be able to have emotion. You will be able to show emotions. Then once you show emotion, you are physical. So a baby in the process is showing emotions of experiences that they experienced. That is reincarnation. The book will dive deep into this knowledge. And so what I wanted to what brought me into this is that number 44 actually gives us an exercise that we are supposed to do in order for us to remember. Because all those experiences that we've been experiencing, every time a baby is born, every time a baby is born, it gains one thing only. It gains two things: a body and a personality. Now, every time, but then the consciousness of a baby is ancient, and for every personality that the baby gains, for every personality that the baby gains, it's a new personality. However, when the consciousness, because consciousness is ancient, so your previous personalities, the previous personalities of every experience that you've ever experienced since the first beginning of existence. They are stored within your consciousness. So the book explains to us as to how is it that we can be able to recall such things. That is number 44. Number 45, the planning, nurturing, and harvesting stages. That is number 45. And number 46, 12, deprogramming statements. There are things that we are supposed to say that that will actually deprogram us, because most of us, we are programmed. So there are things that we are supposed to say. Remember that lentswe le botlhokwa. What you say is actually what happens. So the tongue is a very important tool. It's a very important organ on our body. So that is number 48. Number 49, visualizing using numbers. That is number 49. And number 50, lesson 3, dreams. Number 51, lesson 4, emotions. So basically, dreams, emotions, and thoughts. That is from number 50 to 52. Because it's 50, 51, 52. It's 50, it's dreams. 51, it's emotions. 52, it's thoughts. They are explaining what I just explained. Number 53. Number 53. How consciousness works. It explains what consciousness is. I'm pretty sure we understand what consciousness is. However, let me explain it in a simple term for the sake of those who do not understand what consciousness is. I'm trying to come up with a practical explanation. However, consciousness is I'm trying to come up with a better explanation of what consciousness is, but it's within us. Okay, it's the soul. What we perceive as the soul, as a spirit, is actually consciousness. As soul, as spirit, consciousness, it's one thing. They are just given many names. Moya, umoya. In Ngoni languages. So basically, that is consciousness. When you are sleeping, you are unconscious. When you are awake, you are conscious. When you are sleeping, we are partially dead. We are unconscious. Moya utswile morin. That process, moya o like yona consciousness. So it explains, the book explains what consciousness, it dives deep into what really consciousness is. That is number 53. Number 54, 7 years of perfect health. It will take you 7 years to regain perfect health. 7 full years. If you do everything that the book will be telling you to do. You will take 7 years, and then after 7 years, you will be in perfect health. Then that was number 54, and number 55, 7 years, 7-year fasting schedule. There's a reason why fasting is associated with religion. The process of fasting is not necessarily to starve yourself, and it has nothing to do with religion. It's just that it's practiced by religious people. However, fasting actually is your way of decreasing the poisons we consume through foods. Remember, every food that we consume, especially in these days, every food that we consume has poison. So every time when you are eating, you are consuming poison. And that poison is stored within your body. Hence, we get sick. But this is going to be explained more by the book. However, we get sick. Even if it's not now, you get sick over time. For example, people who drink alcohol, what happens to them? If you drink alcohol on a daily basis, or if you consume Coca-Colas and your Sprites and everything acidic, what happens? You affect your kidney over time, because you keep on consuming those things. They build up within your body up to a certain point where then you are seriously ill. So that is basically what's happening with food, especially unnatural food. Because let's face the facts. The food that we are eating today, it's not fresh food. I'll give you an example. When you go to Checkers, or when you go to every store, or the meat that you are storing in your fridge right now, the meat that you're storing at your fridge, in your fridge right now, do you know when it was killed? You don't know. Therefore, it's not fresh food. And you bought it last week, and then you kept it in your fridge for another week. The process, that time, the food, that time, that meat lost nutrients. That meat became poisonous. Anything that is fresh is something that is, for an example, food that is fresh, meat that is fresh, is meat that is killed right now and eaten right now. That is the freshest meat ever. But anything else, dibodile, it's just preserved, ke fridge. However, dibodile. So that is what this book will be getting into detail, and that is basically what Dr. Sebi was talking about. Those are the table of contents. Those are the table of contents that the book speaks about. Now, I said I was going to list the tables of contents. So I was actually trying to give you a summary as to what you can expect within the book. It's a long book. Prepare yourself for a long read, because it's actually 489 pages long. It's actually 489 pages long. And it's actually 489 pages long. So prepare yourself for a long read. However, it's going to blow your mind. Let me just read the summary of the book. I'm starting to read the summary of the book. If you have questions, I'll read the summary of the book paragraph by paragraph, and then actually try to dive into that particular paragraph. Then if you have questions, please comment them. And please don't forget to tap please don't forget to tap your screen, so that this live can reach many people, because this information is really a need to our people. And and all those all those contents I read, this book is written, I repeat, by a black person. A white person would never call themselves Mudimuntu. They hate the association of black. Now, I'm starting with the summary. It reads like this. Our Earth and solar system were created 78 years ago. Sorry. Our Earth, our Earth and solar system were created 78 trillion years ago. Did you hear it? 78 trillion years ago, which means you are older than what they told you that you are. Now, as soon as the earth was ready, as soon as the earth was ready, 144 ancestors came from another star system, and the star system is called Sirius. That was worshipped by ancient Egyptians. So now you get the notion as to why black people associate themselves with having coming down from the heavens. Hence Zulu people call themselves Amazulu, because they come from the sky. We are basically extraterrestrials beings. Go through those videos that I posted. They will explain to you the concept behind the cosmology of black people. Now, moving along, they inhabited the earth after preparing it by seeding it with plant and animal life. So basically, our ancestors 78 trillion years ago seeded the planet, the earth, with plant and animals. And then after having done that, they came down. After about 7,000 years since their arrival, their population increased from 144. Remember, there is 144,000. Remember, they said they came down in a number of 144,000 ancestors. So this paragraph tells us that after about 7,000 years since their arrival, their population increased from 144,000 to 1,008,800 million. This number, 1,800 million, is the most sacred number in creation. It is a total number of original people who inhabited the first earth of our universe countless trillions of years ago. The original black people. This book is basically telling us about the original black people, who are basically 1,800 million. Thus, every earth inhabited thereafter keeps this number as their final and stable population. That is why today the likes of white people are obsessed with depopulation, because at this point the earth is said to be, if I'm not mistaken, 7 billion. This book tells us that the original people were 1,008 million. So that is the reason, that is where these people get the idea to depopulate. the earth, because this book tells us that the original number of people who are actually supposed to exist within this earth can cater for 1,008,000,000. 800 million people. So we are over that amount. They get it through African knowledge systems. They get this knowledge from African knowledge systems. Hence, they are trying to depopulate this earth. But, and this is a serious but, their agenda is to replace black people with their kind. Hence, they are on my page. There's a video that speaks about their intention to wipe out all black people in South Africa. So they're actually trying to eliminate us so that they can retain the number that this knowledge is speaking about. It was determined to be the ideal number of people that can inhabit a planet the size of Earth in complete comfort, without imposing each other or on the natural resources, as well as the animals and plants. That enables complete freedom of movement for all life on the planet. For all life on the planet. Sorry, I'm reading this comment from Samkelo. Samkelo says 1.8 billion first key. Yes, that is the first. 78 trillion is the Earth and the solar system's existence. Can you record this live? Yeah, I believe I can. I'll post my live on my page once I'm done. Let me continue. Where was I? Okay, that enables complete freedom of movement for all life on the planet. And this essential for peace, prosperity, and spiritual growth. The gaining of knowledge. The reason why the number is specifically 1,008,000,000 is described in the mathematics section of Blackroots science. So you will get the reason why the number 1,008,000,000 is key. Samkelo. The first Earth mentioned above was created. Now we are going back to the first Earth of creation. This Earth, our Earth is not the first creation, because remember, the ancestors came down, which means if they were coming down, they came from another civilization. Therefore, this Earth is not the first. We were the first to land on the Earth, but it was not the first. So, let me continue. The first Earth mentioned was created by the 1,008,000,000 original gods from the stars of the previous universe. They had existed in that previous They had existed in that previous universe towards its end. Towards its end, along with trillions upon countless trillions of other people in a state of mind called divine unity. Okay, let me read it so that it's clear. to understand, because I can hear myself that I didn't read it well. The first earth mentioned above was created by the 1,800,000,000 original gods from the stars of the previous universe. They had existed in that previous universe towards its end, along with trillions upon trillions of other people in a state of mind called divine unity, or the oneness of God, So basically, this is basically what this book. The book is basically telling us what the oneness of God is, what God really is. The book is basically telling us what God really is. So let me continue. It is a state of mind where all the oneness of God is a state of mind where all the people in the universe unite as one. This one is God in truth, not the spiritual God of modern religions. Did you understand this part? Did you really understand this part? Okay, let me go back. I'm going to go back. The first earth mentioned above was created by the 1,800,000,000 original gods from the stars of the previous universe. They had existed in that previous universe towards its end, along with trillions upon countless trillions of other people in a state of one mind called divine unity, or the oneness of God. It is a state of mind where all people in the universe unite as one. This one is God in truth. Not, this is the key part, not the spiritual, in inverted commas, the spiritual is put in inverted commas, not the spiritual God of modern religion. Not the spiritual God of modern religion. I continue. When the trillions upon trillions of people at the end of the previous universe were united as one, they experienced an incredible expansion of their minds, which were as one mind. So basically, what this is telling us is that we exist for the sole purpose of coming together, to unite, to form the oneness of God. Then once we formed the oneness of God, we've reached our purpose of existence. Then we move on to create another universe so that we can repeat the same process. That is basically what this thing is. So that's basically telling us our sole purpose of existence, which was a question that I received on one of my videos, and which was a question that I answered. The one mind of God became so large that previous universes could no longer contain him or her, or he or she. him or her, he or she felt a need for a large universe in which the experience of life would continue. Would continue. The trillions upon trillions of people still united as one, then descended then decided to abandon that universe, that previous universe, the first universe. Because they had now reached their all-time high status of God. Then they decided, okay, then now that we've experienced what it means to be God, let's then abandon this and then continue. They consciously left their perfected bodies and rose in mind far above the universe. They then looked down on it and saw it as a small sphere, the way our earth looks when seen from a high above. The way our earth looks when seen from above in space. Now, the mind is always attached to the body. There is no such thing as a mind without a body, as so-called spiritualists would like us to believe. The mind can extend beyond the outer reaches of space, even expand instantaneously, but the mind can extend beyond the outer reach of space, even expand instantaneously, but a magnetic attraction always attaches it to the physical body. The magnetic attraction dissipates at death, and the mind and individual personality or soul then ascends. That is basically when we die. When we die, our consciousness leaves our body again. Then we ascend. We ascend, we go up. The united mind of the people who were as one person was so immense that the stars appeared to be the size of atoms. As this person was contemplating the universal sphere, he or she saw that it was adequate it was adequate for habitations as a new earth, with all the stars being its atoms. He or she made 1,000,000,008 new bodies corresponding to the size of the new earth. So basically what this is talking about is that since it's this book, the cover that you're looking, the cover that you're looking at, it's the name of the book, the Blackroots science book. You just have to, it's free. You can download it online. It's free. You can download it online. So basically what this book is telling us is that the people in the first earth, in the beginning, so they say, in the beginning, all was God. Now God saw that he is so great to a point that when he inhabited the first earth, He was so great to a point where he felt that the earth was so small for containing him or her. What I like about this book is that it's not specifically isolating or focusing on a particular gender. It's basically stating God as a he and a she, left and right, up and down, back and forth, negative and positive. Not the way our religion has us to believe that God is a he. There's no he without she, and there's no she without he. And it doesn't make sense if God really, a man really gave birth to, if a woman was made from a man. From a scientific point of view, it doesn't make sense. But let me not dwell into this thing. Let me not dwell into this. Let me continue, because then I will go out of the topic. The matter of every star and planet in the universe is created in 7 forms. In modern words, these are magnetism, electricity, light, ether, gases, liquids, and solids. The 4 substances, ether is the central supporting substance of the other 6. It is the womb of creation called space. The womb. Remember, they spoke about womb. We only know of one gender that has a womb. So how then did we are a product of a black woman? Give a black woman a hand. Give a black woman a recognition. Give a black woman a respect, because you are actually, and I mean, you are really interacting with a God. Remember that. It is the womb of creation called space. It is black in color, as one can see by looking out into space at night. This absolute blackness called space not only supports the other substance, but it also gives individual color to all objects, because the color black contains all colors in itself. This is the importance of understanding. This is the importance of understanding how blessed you are to be black. Let me give you an example. What they mean by this. When you look at if now, because it's at night, if you go look outside, you're going to see stars. Those stars, when you look at night, when you look during the day, you don't see those stars. So which means they only come out in the night. And when they come out in the night, they are contained within the blackness of space. That is one example. Number two, we are created within a womb of a woman. Within a womb of a woman, it's dark. And we come out in different colors. That is another example. Number three, I'm trying to highlight and give knowledge that all colors come from black. Number three, you plant a seed, it doesn't have color. You plant it on the ground. And once you've planted it on the ground, when it sprouts, it has the ability to produce different colors. That seed received its color from within the ground. Within the ground, it's dark, it's black. That is another example. Another example is that if you mix all rainbow colors, please research this. If you mix all rainbow colors, do you know what color you get? All rainbow colors are light. But if you mix them all together, you get black, which means they are contained within black, which is the reason why today only a black woman is able to give birth to all colors of the world. Which is the reason why today the black woman is responsible for the existence of all colors. So black within each and every color that you can see and that you can think of is a result of black. That is why it is a true privilege. That is why it's an honor to be black. And that is why they hate you. That is why they don't want you to know that you are great. But let's continue. Let's not be political. Let's continue. Just wanted to highlight the importance of understanding yourself. I'm trying to I'm looking at the book and trying to find where I was. Okay, let me continue. They establish it by withdrawing from or leaving their divine unity. That is, I'm continuing. I'm continuing from where I left off. They establish it by withdrawing from or leaving their divine unity, in which they had existed for over 1 trillion years. The title is on your screen. You are looking at the title. It's Blackroots Science. The title. This is the cover of the book. This background is actually the cover of the book. So the title is Blackroots Science. The knowledge contained within this book. The knowledge contained within this book is actually given by a black person from a black nation. Which this knowledge, hence it was necessary for his or her anonymity, because this knowledge has weight. So you can't give out this knowledge and then shout that, hey, I've given this knowledge. You will be scrutinized for the rest of your life. They will hunt you down. So now I understand why it was imperative for the anonymity of this person. Let's continue. They did this in order to be able to bring new life into the world. New persons who had never existed before, such as you and me. At the same time, in order to ensure the continuity of eternity, this same 1,800,000,000 original gods continue to incarnate in the new people. So the original people continue to incarnate in new people, which then gives a highlight of what I was talking about. Which then gives us, which then explains what I was talking about when I was talking about babies being born with personalities. That's basically what I was talking about. At the same time, in order to ensure the continuity, sorry, it's digital and I'm using my phone. I think I should be using my computer. It's going to take time. Let's continue anyway. Okay, let me try to, because I'm using my phone and it's really making me lose points. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes so that I can continue on my computer. I'm so sorry, my network is really starting up. My network is really starting up. My network wants to interrupt us from exchanging this level of knowledge. So let me continue. Apologies. It's not me, the network. So I was here. At the same time, in order to ensure the continuity of eternity, these same 1,800,000,000 original gods continue to incarnate in the new people. They reside in the consciousness part of a person's mind and are called the mind of God or the divine gift of ancestral memory, or what modern people call the Spirit of God. So it's a clear explanation. It doesn't need a ruler. Now you understand why you say, okay, now you understand what they mean when they actually say that God, your body is a temple of God. This is basically what they mean. It's said that they reside in the unconsciousness part of the person's mind and are called the mind of God or the divine gift of ancestral memory, or what modern people call the Spirit of God. Thus, every black person, even though he or she is born brand new, is subconsciously one of the 1,000,000,008 original gods. This is very important. This is very important. I'm going to repeat this. Thus, every black person, which means you are included. Thus, every black person who's listening to this live, I'm not being racist, please. I'm not being racist. I'm being factual. A black person can never be racist, but that is an argument for another day. Thus, every black person, even though he or she is born brand new, is subconsciously one of the 1,800,000,000 original gods. I'll give you an assignment. I'll give you an assignment, and I'm going to give you a fact. In this life, in the earth that we are living today, all black people combined, they are not 1,800,000,000. They are less. Of the total 7 billion people on this earth, we are not 1,800,000,000. I give you, challenge me and prove me wrong. So which means we are in short. The original people are in short. The original people are in short. Why? It's because of because of all the atrocities that we've gone through. We have been murdered so much that they decreased the number of the original people. That is basically what they were trying and are still trying to do even today. Remember that when we are collectively combined, we form what is the mind of God, divine unity. So that constantly trying to limit us from attaining such unity. That is why black unity is very important. And that is why they're doing everything in their power to make sure that that doesn't come into fruition. That is why today there are borders within the African continent. That is why today there is a term xenophobia. Even though in our vernacular languages we don't have this word. Did you know that in our language we don't have poverty as well? We don't have. I'm a Tswana /Pedi person. So from my language and all the people who are within this live, you can't tell me that poverty means go tlhoka. In our language, you are wrong. Why am I saying you are wrong? Because one, when you don't have a car, ore ke tlhoka koloi. When you don't have food, ore ke tlhoka dijo. But in English, when they say poverty, they associate poverty with only one element, being disadvantaged. But then you can't say you are disadvantaged if you don't have a car. O ka se re o tlhoka koloi. Worry, you are living within poverty, which then disqualifies the term poverty in our language. Ase go tlhoka koloi, ase go tlhoka to be in poverty. That is from my language. That's why I'm saying we don't have poverty in our language. We don't have poverty. We don't have also xenophobia. So we are constantly and continuously being divided so that we do not attain the level of unity that will then result in our godly form. Continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. The 1,008,000,000 original people are all So the 1,000,000,008,000,000 original people withdrew from divine unity, except, this is important, except the 24 elders, who are really 12 gods or 12 soul couples. The 24 elders are called the custodians of divine unity, which means that out of those 1,008,000,000 people, 800 million people, only 24 were chosen to remain with their divinity. 24 meaning the 24 people are actually 12. Why am I saying there are 12 couples? Because it's a couple of two, it's a pair of two, which then individually there are 12 males and 12 females. Collectively they are 24. So which then that is where 24 elders came from. And if you look at it from this angle, if you look at it from this angle, you see this thing, the process. It was the beginning of the earth when 1,008,000,000 people decided to divide themselves to leave 24 people to become the elders. Ne? So what they did, what I want to explain is that this event, ke foundation of creation, not creation, okay, ke foundation of us coming down into the earth. Get 12. And if you look at 12, it's found within Christianity. They say Jesus, when Jesus came, he needed, he recruited 12 disciples. You see, they correspond. Jesus is God. Basically, Jesus is the collective, because Jesus is perceived as one who is stronger than those 12 people. So basically, Jesus was a collective of divinity. And then the 12 people are the chosen 12 people, like they are being chosen here. When they say the 12 people are the 12 people who are the 24 elders. So this basically gives us knowledge, an idea of where Christianity took their knowledge from. 12 is the basis of creation of Christianity. Since Jesus starts by recruiting 12 disciples. Also, 12 is a basis of the creation of our world. Continue. Let's continue. The 12 gods chose 12 assistants from 12 assistants, each called them the 144 judges. So basically, they say the 12 gods chose 12 assistants each. Okay, the 12 gods chose 12 assistants each and called them the 144 chiefs. Why 144? 144 comes from 12 times 12. It's 144. So 12 gods chose 12 assistants each. You see, the 12 is also coming into play as part of creation. And they called them 144 chiefs. The gods divided the population into 12 tribes. You see, again, 12. 12 tribes of 84 million people. 84 million people. Continue. They further divided each tribe into 6 clans and set 2 chiefs, a man and a woman, as the heads of each clan. The chiefs chose 1,000 people each and called them the 144,000 judges. Please focus on the math here. Ne? Focus on the math. The math is saying that, let's start from the beginning. 12 gods, if you can write it down. 12 gods chose 12 assistants each and called them the 144 chiefs. So 12 times 12, it's 144. Then divided each tribe into 6 clans and set 2 chiefs, a man and a woman, as the heads of each clan. The chiefs chose 1,000 people because they were 144 chiefs. They each chose 1,000 people from within the 1,000,000,008,000,000, mind you. 1,000 people each, and called them the 144 judges. They sent them in soulmate pairs all over the earth to set the foundation of 72 cities, 72,000 cities. Each couple took about 14,000 people with them to establish their city. This is basically telling us the foundation of our culture. If you can, it's not possible that I will know everything. Yeah. I'm human as well. But if you can make research in connecting these numbers within your culture, it will really be a great help. This was the basic organization of the Black nation established by the original gods of the first earth. When other earths were completed and settled, were completed and settlers sent to them, this organization was repeated and remains as the divine form of kingdom or queendom of every inhabited earth throughout the universe. Then this tells us that within the universe there are countless of earths. It's an argument for another day, this one. It can easily be proven, though. It can easily be proven. Let's continue. The original gods also established 7 great rituals of initiation to be used by the leaders to elevate all new people to divine unity. God's purpose for creating universe after universes is to increase himself or herself. Every person who completes the 7 great rituals become full God. Exactly like the original people. Basically, the original 1,000,000,008,000,000 people are gods. We are those gods. The book will explain further, though. At that moment of completion, God rediscovers himself or herself anew, as if he or she had never existed before. That is how God renews himself or herself, thus overcoming the stagnancy that would be the case in an I'm unable to adhere to comments because I'm reading here. So please just listen and listen. But if I'm able to see a comment, I'll comment. But let's continue because my battery is also leaving me. But let's continue. In addition, sorry, I was not here. I was not here. At that moment of completion, God rediscovers himself or herself anew, as if he or she had never existed before. That is how God renews himself or herself, thus overcoming the stagnancy that would be the case in an eternally all-knowing being who never changes. In addition to the 7 great rituals, this is basically why we have 7 days of the week. It's to commemorate the initial 7 rituals that enable us to find ourselves, our godly selves again. This is why Jesus rose after how many days? 7 days. As a what? A God. So you see, from within this knowledge, Christianity is found. In addition, the 7 great rituals, the original people also established many other rituals, and thus covering every area of science and life. So then it clearly tells us that we are not as primitive as they claim us to be. We are not primitive. We are creators. Then they initiated the leaders of their descendants into this knowledge before passing. Their initiation rituals have been faithfully transmitted from generation to generation since the beginning. On our earth, this form of divine rule existed uninterrupted for 78 trillion years until 6,000 years ago. Until 6,000 years ago, who came to be 6,000 years ago? Yes, you guessed it. You guessed it. If you don't know, find out. If you do not know, find out, please. Okay. On our earth, this form of divine rule existed uninterrupted for 78 trillion years until 6,000 years ago, when a certain God decided it was time for the other gods, you and me, to experience that part of us contained in what is called the non-recessive light gem. Non-recessive light gem. Please take note of this. Non-recessive light gem. He caused the birth of new races of people, the non-blacks, who would be the vehicles to manifest all that is in that gene. I hope you had this right. I hope you had this right. On our earth, I'm not continuing. I'm going back to read it again. On our earth, this form of divine rule existed uninterrupted for 78 trillion years until 6,000 years ago, when a certain God decided it was time for all other gods, you and me, to experience that part of us contained in what is called the non-recessive. I said recessive, it's actually creative. Sorry. Called the non-creative recessive light gem. He caused the birth of a new races of black people, of people, the non-blacks, who would be the vehicles of many, who would be the vehicles to manifest all that is in that gene. All things, without exception, are contained in God. God will experience all that is contained in him or her. He or she knows all, but has not experienced all. Please, this is important. All things, without exception. That answers the question why they say, how come God can't see where I'm going? How come God can't see where I'm from? So how come I can do this and then God doesn't stop me? You know. So basically, what is saying is that all things, without exception, are contained in God. God will experience all, but is contained. That is contained in him or her. He or she knows all, but has not experienced all. He or she uses the creation for his he or she uses the creation for this purpose of experiencing all that is known, including what is called evil. Hence, 6,000 years ago, a god by the name of Yahweh. Please, take note. Take note. A god by the name Yahweh, called Yaqub in other ancient scripts, was born here on our earth. He, together with about 60,000 volunteers who are called the Elohim, made the non-blacks in our image. You see where this notion, God made man in our image. This is where it comes from. God made man in our image. Let us make man in our image. Let's read it again. He or she uses creation for this purpose of experiencing all that is known, including what is called evil. Hence, 6,000 years ago, a god by the name of Yahweh, by the name of Yahweh, called Yaqub in other ancient scripts, was born here on earth. He, together with about 60,000 volunteers who were called the Elohim, you find the Elohim in the Bible, made the non-blacks in our image. Because the God of the non-blacks is us, is part of us. So he made those people in our image, in his image. They made them by suppressing the dominant black gene and slowly unfolding the recessive light gene over a period of 7 generations of offsprings, or 200 years. You see where they come from. You see where they come from. Let me read again. He, together with about 60,000. This story, try and look up the Yakub story, Yakub or Yahweh story. Ne? Try and Google Yakub. Yakub is written YAKUB. Let me repeat it again. YAKU and B. Yakub. Yakub. Some call him Yakub, some call it Yahweh. So, he was born here on our earth. He, together with about 60,000 volunteers who are called the Elohim, made the non-blacks in our image. They made them by suppressing. That is why I said take note of recessive light, of the term recessive light gene. They made them by suppressing the dominant black gene and slowly unfolding the recessive light gene over a period of 7 generations of offspring, or 200 years. This caused the appearance of the first light race born of black people. Ever wondered why a black woman is able to give birth to an albino? An albino is a result. Please don't take this the wrong way, please. An albino is a result of a recessive light gene taking being dominant through the creation process within the womb of a woman. Then comes an albino. I'm giving an example. An albino has less melanin. So that is the reason. But there's a reason which will take time to indulge if I have to explain how albinism comes into being, because they are given birth by black people and not white people. Please, let me read this, and after, because I'm finishing, I'm actually, give me 2 minutes and then I'll be done. This is a summary. Then after I'll accept guests. Right, I was here. This caused the appearance of the first light race. Can see you requesting. Please request. Please request when I declare having finished this summary, please. After another 200 years of deliberate and careful breeding, they caused the second light race to appear out of the first. Then, what happens is that for the first 200 years, they were not. That's when they introduced light skin. So basically, what this is telling us is that the original skin is pure, 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 pure black. Then the first 200 years, which were still black people, however, another race was introduced. Sorry, they're not. They're not. Okay, black comes in different colors. I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. Black comes in different colors. We have black. That one that looks like navy blue. We have brown, and we have yellow. All those people are black people. Black comes in different colors. The first 200 years, so those people, after 200 years, the first race appeared. After another, so basically there was the first 200 years, ne, of deliberate, after another 200 years of deliberate and careful breeding, they caused the second light race to appear out of the first. To give a primary example, the Arabs are Mongoloid people. They are the first race because they have melanin within them, the Arabs. That's why they don't look white and then they don't look black at the same time. That's where they come from. Then 200 years later, basically the Arabs were the first. Then this caused the appearance of the first light race to be born out of the black people. After another 200 years of deliberate and careful breeding, they caused the second light race to appear from the first race. You know who these are? These are the Chinese people. Chinese people also still have melanin because all Chinese people, their hair is black. Okay, let me not say all, but black hair is also found within Chinese people. So this is a Chinese. Then 200 years later, the third race appeared, and finally, 66 years after the appearance of the third race, yellow race, and the fourth race, Caucasians, appeared. The Caucasian people are the final race. These 60,000 people, Yahweh and the Elohim, thus initiated the modern. This is the last paragraph. These 60,000 people, Yahweh and the Elohim, thus initiated the modern age and process that would eventually bring our divine kingdom to a temporary end. That is the brief sacred history leading from the first earth to our earth and the present situation or cycle called evil, which was preordained for 6,000 years. That, in brief, is the sacred history leading from the first earth to our earth and to the present situation or cycle called evil. So basically the present cycle is called evil, which was preordained. So basically, also this process that we are going through is preordained to last for 6,000 years. So that was the summary of this book. That was the summary of this book. Hence, I specifically said this is an interesting book to read. It's a summary. Within the book, it will dive into detail. So I can now accept requests, and then we can try to make comments, try to have a discussion. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you wish to think. Or let's engage. Let me hear from you what you think. All who were requesting can now finally request, and we shall engage. So this was a very, very long read. Yet it's a summary. It was a totally through the bad network. At least we really held on. And thank you for listening. This is the book called Blackroots Science. It actually explains and dives into the existence. So yeah, this is educational. This is education. This is an attempt to remind us of who we are. This is an attempt to remind us of who we are. The summary is finished. I finished reading the summary. We can now then make requests. I'll accept requests. Then let's engage. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Tell me which part blew your mind away. Thank you for the rose. Ntlanta Kumalo, thank you. Thank you. I'm reading through your comments. You can make comments then or ask questions. I'll try and answer your questions. I'll be leaving you guys ka 10 o'clock because my battery is really leaving me. So I'll be leaving you at 10 o'clock. And I'll be hosting another live maybe next Sunday because during the week I'm busy. So I can only host lives during Sunday. So what can happen is that you can download the book, read the book, and then probably when I come back to the live on Sunday or Saturday, we can discuss what you read, and we can exchange ideas. We can exchange ideas. You can tell me what you think. You can tell me what you know, because there are knowledgeable people out there. You may be one of them. You may educate me. Mr. CSG, welcome. I hope you were present. You get the book. You get the book online. Just Google Blackroots Science. Mr. CSG, Mr. CSQ. I mean, sorry, Mr. CSQ. Were you present throughout the entire reading process? Hopefully, if you were present, then you got your answer as to why the author decided or chose to be anonymous. Just Google Blackroots Science and then specify or a PDF document. Then it will show you the search results, and then it will allow you or enable you to download. Or if you are unable to do so, to make things easy for you, you can inbox me here on TikTok. You can inbox me your you can inbox me and I'll email you. Right. I'm accepting.
Hello, brother.
Welcome, Ndlala. Welcome.
I'm just so curious about this book of yours. I've been trying to research for a long time. I can't seem to find my foundation on discovering on the roots of our people. So, if maybe this book can be the foundation of my research. I don't know
Well,
anything about this book, and okay, like you said, I should just go and download it with the PDF. But then I didn't hear enough of your summary. But then I think maybe since you've just labeled out that the book might be the great foundation to understanding the science of Blackroots. I would like to hear more from you from the book, maybe some things that you can touch on or things that you might have seen interesting about the book, so that you can just share with us and have a little bit of knowledge before acquiring that book.
before acquiring the book. Did you recently just join the live?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why. To save time, ne?
Yes.
I'm going to, because this was a request. I'm going to upload this live. I don't know if I've never done that. I don't know if it's going to allow me to upload the entire session because it's a very long session. But this book covers a lot of things. It covers from the creation process of the earth, the universe. It covers uh, introduction to physics and astronomy. It covers cosmology. It covers biology and genetics. It covers the reason why we get sick. The cause is what makes us sick. It covers what is known as Holy Trinity. It covers the lifespan of ancient black people. It covers the first tribes of the world, the 12 tribes of the world. It covers the society of the black nation, the creation of the universe, the size of the earth, the size of the universe. It covers a lot of points. A lot of points.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So, do you think?
Sorry? Yes, so we seem to have lost Ntlantla. We seem to have lost Ntlantla, but
I am sorry, I'm here.
all right.
So what I was saying is, it seems like this book is like is gonna open up some ideas, or should I say maybe my eyes will be open, more open, because what I believe in is far much older than I have thought maybe I've believed in. So maybe this book might
You
be the
know,
breakthrough.
yeah, you know what really needs to happen, ne?
Yes,
When listening to this live, ne, and reading this book, you need to be open-minded. There are some people who are fixated on ideas that they are not willing to actually take a peek into other ideas. You understand what I'm saying?
yes.
Yeah, so when you're reading or going through my videos, for example, on my TikTok page, or when you are reading this book, or when you are listening to my live, you need to be open mind. Be willing to listen to other ideas that you are not part of. It won't kill you to just listen. If the information is, if it works for you, then it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. No harm is done there.
Okay, firstly, can I please ask you one question,
Yeah.
if I may? So, this, I think maybe you've heard this question like multiple times, people trying to find out whether you believe or you do not believe. But uh, between uh, answer our ancestors and the word of God, who comes first?
Between our ancestors and word of God.
Yes, because I cannot say God, because really, if I can say God, that will be different.
It depends
I
on
can
your
say
definition of God. If you
no,
are
because
looking, if
because
you are look, yes,
okay, let me just elaborate on this. Because if I can say to you, God, God is more like an ancestor. You understand? God is more like an ancestor, because we get to God through Jesus, like they say, we get through God through Jesus. But if I say differentiate between ancestors and God, that would be far much more difficult to do so, because we actually talking about the same thing. So the word of God and ancestors. That's what I want to ask there.
uh, from that's why I'm saying it depends on your definition of God. If you are looking at God from a religion perspective, you're going to be in conflict with the spiritual perspective of God, the natural perspective of God. That's why I'm saying it depends. If you are defining God from a religious point of view, then you're going to be thrown off the book, because religion and spirituality are and will forever be in conflict. So if I'll answer this question from natural and spiritual and cultural perspective of things, God and ancestors are one, which is why today we call our ancestors Badimu. We call our ancestors Badimu. If there are not many, ke Mudimu. We call God Mudimu in our language. You get
Okay,
it?
I hear you there.
Yes. So
Okay,
that is why I'm saying, if you're looking at it from, remember, from a religious perspective, that's why I specifically said that you have to be open minded. If you're open minded, then you will be able to receive information that you never thought of. But if you are closed minded, you will not be willing to listen or receive any other information. Therefore, you will perceive the information that you already have as the only information, which is fine if it works for you.
brother, let me tell you what works for me.
Yeah,
I don't believe in a white man's book. Honestly speaking, that is a book. It's just a book. For me, it's just a book. Because I don't understand why you say someone will die for me. Or I will die for myself. No one is supposed to die for me. And no one is going to come and save me because I don't need saving. That's the first thing. I don't need saving because why should I be saved? Why should I live in this world to be saved? No, and
exactly.
then some people will say, no, you have to repent. Why do I have to repent? What did I do? Because
Exactly.
every time, okay, let's say I'm born today. They say, this child does not have any. I think ibe ngezulu. Ingane lena ayinacala. Yintshana. Ingane lena
Mm.
ayinacala. But then at the end of the day, they say we are sinful from birth. This confuses me because now we're following the Bible. We're like, okay, I'm following the Bible, but the Bible says I am not, and then later I am. So you see, I'm getting
Overall,
confused.
it has a lot of contradictions. A lot of contradictions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now we have to believe that this book is the only way of life. But then at the end of the day, I've noticed no, it's not the only way. The only way is through your ancestors because they've been there before, and before them there were other ancestors,
And guess
and
what?
before then there were other ancestors. So you check. It's like a tree. It's got roots. It grows each and every
Exactly.
day.
Exactly.
So that's
And
that's the
remember,
reason.
and yes, and remember, Jesus is an ancestor as well.
To them, to us, to who? It has to depend because end of the day, if I can say I don't believe in the Bible, which means I don't even consider Jesus as someone that will lead me through my life. You
Exactly.
understand? So if
Mm.
Jesus is for the Caucasians, let him be for the Caucasians. As we are Africans, we live our life in a spiritual way. That's what they always forget. If you tell them this, they'll tell you, yeah, no, fire, fire, you have demons and stuff. No, 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 no. There is no such thing as hell because if there is hell, all of us here in the world would have been dead by now because no one
Actually,
is
actually,
sinless.
to be frank,
Yes,
hell exists, but not from the perspective of religion. Hell exists, and we are living through hell as we speak, especially as black people. Why am I saying we're living through hell? Look at the conditions that we are living on. The conditions that we are living on are so much that they are contributing to our demise. Basically, we are living in hell right now.
as we live in hell, and then who lives in heaven?
Them. Again, you see, they own the land, they own the resources, they own the money, they own everything. So they're living in heaven. That is the reason why. That is the reason why angels come in white skin. If you Google angels today on Google, you're going to get white skin. If you Google hell or the devil, today you're going to get red-ish,
Oh, yeah, reddish
dark
or brown,
skin. Yes,
brother.
that is black.
Yes, and then that's why you find out that how real is this? Because okay, like us, we living like in the southern Africa, right? And
Yes,
in the southern Africa, we only knew the Bible by the 19th century, right? And then
yes,
before then, what were they using? What did they say? What did they use the Bible? Did they know about hell? Did they know about heaven? Because
you see,
by the knowledge that I have today, I think by the knowledge I have today, I understand that our ancestors were and will always be the well-being of us today. Because even if you can go wherever you go with your ancestors. And then you say you can
yes,
pray, you're praying, but still your ancestors are the one making everything happen for you because that spirit never dies. You don't die. You just become a spiritual being. So
you
it's
ascend.
like going to the next level. This level that we're in, oh yes, we're still learning, but the next level is where you see everything. So
Exactly.
if you tell a Christian that thing, if you explain this to a Christian, they'll skin you alive and tell you, "Oh, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. There's only one God, and one God is lived through this." But then
Yeah.
come back, brother. Come back. Go to your
Let's
ancestors.
welcome. Sorry, my brother Ntlanta. Let's welcome our brother here. Welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome. Iremayoa.
Oh,
How are you, sir?
good evening. How you doing? I'm good.
Welcome to the live. Please tell us what your point of view.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
You can. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can
can hear
hear
you
you, brother. We
perfectly.
can hear you, brother. Go on.
Okay. I don't have much to talk about the discussion. Just continue, then I will have my point later.
All
Oh,
right, no
okay.
problem.
Let me pick up from your comment, right?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
uh, you're saying imaginary thinking, right?
Yes, yes. About the hell and
Yes,
heaven, the heaven and hell is what we are just thinking about and what they put in our brain. So that's what
absolutely.
I know about hell and heaven.
Yes, but then now is the time to learn about our well-being. Not talking about going outside your country or outside your village or outside your house. We're
Okay.
talking about something that you actually live with, no matter where you are, right?
Okay.
As a spiritual person, it's more important to be aware of your surroundings because the energy that you produce, uh, it it makes people around you realize that there is motion or there is how can I put this? Maybe there is a spiritual way of living. You understand?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. If you have hell and heaven, who decides who goes to hell and who goes to heaven?
Go to heaven. Okay.
You understand? Then they will tell you it's God, and then I'll ask you today, do you know God? They will tell you, yes, I know God. He makes you breathe every day. Okay, have you ever been? He come? Does he come to you, or does he go to the hospital and heal people? Why are you in pain today? Why can't he just make you feel better? Why can't he make the world feel better? Where they are
Exactly.
Yes, there are hurricanes. There are so many things that are happening around the world, and then they will tell you that God will save you or Jesus will save you.
To save you from
When
somewhere.
yes, but since Jesus died, they always said he's gonna come back. And how many years have Jesus been dead? You understand those questions? Those questions are the
I
questions
understand.
that we are always receiving each and every day in our lives. And then they will tell us, no, God is real or Jesus is real. That is the book of God. Is not that is the book of God, the word of God, the word that was written by another human being just to tell you, no, this thing has to
Like
be like
me
that.
and you. Someone wrote those things. People who wrote it is like me and you. Do you know that?
Yes.
So do you know the problem of Africa is that we don't appreciate what we have. That is the problem we have in Africa.
Af-
Exactly.
Af-
Yeah, that is our basically the main issue, our biggest
We don't
challenge.
we like anything strange, even when we don't see it with our face. But if they just told us or any story that is not even real, we like to appreciate it that what we see by ourselves.
yeah, because now, if I can tell you that I invented space, will you say no?
Exactly. That is it.
Yeah, I'll be asking. I'll be telling you. No, you know what? I know space. There are 6,000 planets that out there. I created
Out
them.
there, that
Like
is
that.
it. And
Like for example, like that.
there is no record. There is no record. I'm sorry to interrogate you. There is no record in the Bible or Quran that talk about the space, the planet on the space, the galaxy we have on the space. They're only telling you about heaven and earth. Where is heaven? And this earth is just planet, not galaxy alone. This earth is just planet, and we have many planets in the space, not heaven. There's nothing like heaven.
Yes.
Are we talking
Okay.
of space or another galaxy?
No. Let me put something else on top, eh? Okay, there's this man in. I don't know how true is this. I just want to know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I just have to say this. But then there's this man in Kenya who claims to be Jesus, who has his own disciples.
Oh,
You
yes,
understand?
I heard about it. Yes, I heard about it.
Yes, there is. And then who will say no? That is not Jesus.
Exactly, because Jesus has been imposed according to a particular image into our brain. That
Yes.
is what's
Uh,
wrong.
and then and then what I have also researched about the Bible is that when you go to Rome, the Pope is kneeling before a statue that is black,
That
Black,
is
and the
yes,
Pope,
yes.
completely.
yes, and then I saw this other video again. He kneeled down to kiss a black man's feet.
But they
What
That
just
is
is that
that?
is
revealed
that
to
is the
tell
Black
the
Madonna.
black man
It's
the
called
secret
the
behind
woman
this.
the woman that he is praying and kneeling before is called Black Madonna. She is part of one of the Moors, or she is an ancestor of the Moors who were responsible for the creation or the provision of civilization in Europe. So
Yes,
the Pope itself,
the
the Pope himself is seeing black people as gods, but the religion behind his doing is fighting. Kore Pila Pila, he's contradicting himself because the religion he is pushing is actually indoctrinating us to think that we are not what the Pope is thinking that we are.
and then they but they are the ones who elected the Pope. They know that what they're doing.
Yes,
They believe that maybe they are the only beings that are responsible for the civilization. But then,
exactly,
if you
exactly.
can have if you can have a Chinese, a Latino, a black man, a Caucasian, all these races, and your own race can't even reproduce the gene of your own race, and then what do you call that? Because a white man can, if a white man mate with a Chinese, the kid will be a Chinese. If a white man matches with a Latino, the kid will be a Latino. If a white man uh, uh, can be with a black
You
man, a
know
black
why
woman,
that is? You know
it,
why that
yeah,
is the reason?
yeah.
It's the reason behind that is the Latino the Chinese the Arabs, they are the first race of creation from the recessive light gene, which is a result of being compressed from a black gene. Correct? The recessive gene is actually what I was talking about in this live in this book. This book explains that uh, from a black man came the first generation of light skinned people who are Mongoloid people. Then there was a second race. The first race has much more genes of black people, which are the Arabs, the current modern day Arabs and the Mongoloid people, those yellow people. Then the second race the second race is the Chinese people, and then the last youngest race is the Caucasians. That is the reason why they are unable to reproduce apart from just reproducing themselves.
Oh yes, you see, and then now you can see how this colonization has also got into us as the youth of Africa. We are so blinded by the word of God, like Lukau was responsible for waking that Elliot dude from death. But now Elliot is dead. Why did you go and wake him up again? Yes, it's something that we live through it. We know we see these things happening, and then you hear still people say, "No, is my pastor is the greatest pastor." And then I also saw another clip. Uh, a pastor hanging from the ceiling and confessing to the followers, saying, "I'm ascending to the heavens," but he's going through the ceiling. What is that? And then you hear you hear our people saying, "Yes, hallelujah, fire." What is that? People are just playing around with our lives, playing around with our fathers, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers, each and everyone. And then when you tell them about this, they will say like, "You are crazy. How can you think
Yeah,
of that? How can you say
yeah.
this?" But
They don't want you to
but
think
then
further. They don't want you to think further. If
Can
you
I
want to
tell you
follow the
yes.
something?
religion, you have to be dumb. You have to be dumb, unquestionable. Don't question anything about the past. They don't want you to question anything about the past.
Don't why don't you ask yourselves why? Why is it that black people
No,
are easily fooled in religion? We are easily fooled in religion because we are spiritual beings. Being so spiritual to a point that uh, our spirituality needs to be embraced. Our spirituality needs to be embraced and taken care of. And when it's not being embraced and taken care of, it's boiling within us, which is the reason why we are just able to convert into spirituality in order to feed that spiritual hunger. That's the reason why today black people confuse religion and spirituality. They think them as one, but they're not one. That is the reason why, because of our spiritual hunger, because of our spiritual need to practice spiritual activities, we convert such rituals into the religious ritual, because the spiritual practice of things is absent.
Absolutely. And I would like to say this. While I was growing up, I used to see our elders doing all those ancestral things, calling them to come back and rejoice with us, and then we'll be dancing. There will be like a gathering. But now,
Yeah.
if you can tell our elders that let's do this, why did you stop this? They'll tell you, no, you know what, this thing is an ancient thing. Now it's a new world. There is no
Exactly.
new world. How can
There's
you
no
have
Exactly.
a
new
new
word
world
here.
while you are still living? There's no new world.
Exactly.
You're still living in that same world. You're just being fooled by other people, that are other nations, that you know what, this thing, you have to do this. If I can come to your house and say, you know what, today you are not going to eat here in your house,
Yeah.
and I am going to eat, and you will stay there. You will not say, you will not just sit there. You will fight. You say, don't come in my house and tell me what to do in my house. But no, they come to a house and they just they just flash money in front of us, and then they say you just obey. You know what? It's so painful on watching some clips. Some day I was also going through Facebook, because I've joined so many groups and pages on Facebook to whom are talking about the ancestral, the Kemet, everything about Africa. But I soon came across with a clip whereby my brothers were in chains from the legs, the hands, the neck. Even the smallest of the youngest of our kids were in chains, and then you end up saying, yes, Jesus is white, but how can Jesus be white and hate us so much that even his own kind hates us? The way they hate us is like we don't exist in this world. The way they hate us, even today, I'm not gonna hide my feelings. White people, they don't love you. They will never love you. I work for
They
a white
never
man.
love
Yes, I
you.
work for a white. Even now, I work for a white man, but that doesn't believe that I like that man. Yes, it's my means of my survival. Even if I can say no, I don't want to work for a white man. I want to survive because yes, he's the superior. Now as we speak, he is the superior, but that doesn't mean he has to control me. I have
Can
my
I can
own
I take
ways of
can I
seeing
take a
things.
different perspective for just a minute and actually
Yes,
defend them?
yes. Please do.
The reason why they are doing what they are doing today is because they were bred and meant specifically to do those things. They are basically just doing what they're supposed to do. See, what happened is that you were so you were so great, you were so innocent, you were so pure to a point whereby you were unable yourself to produce evil, which is the reason why today they were made. Because you are pure, you are clean, you are unable to be evil. They took a part out of you which was hidden within you and
Okay,
then
Kerala, that
manifested
their
it
network
into
is not good. Maybe you
reality.
should pause and rewind it back.
Manifested it into reality. And then once they manifested it into reality, it then that part which then came out of you, which is then the reason why they say God made man in our image. That part that came out of you was and is was the responsible part of you to be evil on your behalf. So basically what's happening is that they are they are doing what we are unable to do, which is the reason why today, as we speak, you are able to uh, uh, you are able to coexist with a person who is responsible for the downfall of your ancestors. Why is it that so? It's because you are unable yourself to be what he is, which is then why he is doing what he is doing today. He's basically doing his job. Do you know that? So basically, that is basically what they are. So in their defense, we brought them here. We called them from, we took them out of, we took them from within us, and then we manifested them into reality so that they can be bad. Remember that we like I said, we are unable to be bad. So in the beginning, life was harmony, life was flourishing so well that we had no experience of being bad. Remember that learning and info and education is attained through experience. So if you don't experience, you don't learn. And if you don't learn, you won't know. So it was necessary for us to experience evil so that we can then understand what evil really is. So because we were unable to be so evil and so destructive and so chaotic, we then made people to then act that part on our behalf. And then they are doing that and they were given time to act on that part. So that when that time has elapsed, we then will have knowledge and understanding and intelligence of knowing that, okay, being bad is like this. Then that is what ascension is about. That is what experience is about. We are supposed to experience evil through them.
But now is the awakening. Now, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, if you still believe that God, Jesus, the Bible is the only way of life, go to Europe and see whether they like you in Europe. Because even in Europe, a black man is, yes, but it's a proven fact. It's a proven
Yeah,
fact because if you go to Europe, they still treat you like you are in Africa. Even
yeah.
if you are in Africa, they still treat you the same. Even if you go to Europe, the treatment won't change because you
Did you
don't
know that?
belong there.
Did you know that between France and Germany, there's no border?
Yes,
You can walk into France as in like you are crossing the street.
absolutely.
Like you're crossing the
Absolutely.
street and then going in and buying for Francis something and then coming back to Germany to
German,
eat whatever
where you
you are
stay.
doing. Yes,
It's like that. There are so many places. So in Europe, there are so many places you can see. Even there are some TikTok things that happen, TikTok videos that happen. And say Nepal or China, Poland or whatever the country, Poland, whatever the countries are. But the fact that stays is when they were. And there were black Africans. I shouldn't even say black Africans. When there were Africans fleeing from Russia or no, fleeing from Ukraine, trying to flee to going through to Poland. What happened there? Do you
yeah,
recall that? Do you still
yes,
recall that? Why did Poland say no? We cannot accept black people. And then you continue to say Jesus is loving you and everything is loving you. With the smallest things change make the biggest of changes. The
Then okay,
smallest
then
things.
yes, then comes the question: if there are no borders within their countries and within their continent, why do we have borders?
You see now, our minds are being played with. I
Exactly.
think now people have to open their minds because this thing of the way I speak to my African brothers, even at my workplace, even if where I'm working, I always try to find more information about Africa.
Yes,
I try to
yes.
find, yes, because I don't see borders. I don't see borders. I only see land.
When
A
you're
vast,
looking at another African, you are looking at yourself.
absolutely. No matter which corner of Africa you come from, you're still one person
That
because we
you
still.
know what the problem is? The problem is the political system. I get it. The political system is responsible for an overall management of affairs of the people. So the political system is failing to enforce rules that can enforce that can enforce collaboration, understanding, love, everything within our community, within our African countries. So that political system is actually a foreign political system. It's a tool that is being used to further their agendas of divide and conquer. And the political spectrum of South Africa, it's foreign because this political system is not African.
To be quite honest, to be very quite honest, I think we don't understand what democracy is.
Exactly.
We
Because it's
don't
democratic.
understand that. Yeah, democracy. We don't understand this thing, democracy. I don't understand it myself because it doesn't make sense to vote for someone who's gonna make you suffer at the end of the day. It doesn't
And
make sense to vote for someone who will oversee your own ideas and then comes with another person who comes from another side
and
of the
did you know
planet.
that? Did you realize that we African countries are the only African are practicing democracy while they are not practicing democracy. Puppet democracy
Yeah,
allows the establishment of many political parties. Those political parties will have opposing views, but they claim to fight for one thing. Go to America. When you get into America, you find two parties. You don't find 100 parties. You find two. That
two.
is not
Yes,
democracy.
only two. No, they're just especially when it comes to Americans. Americans, those are the devils, bruh. I don't want to lie about it, but those are the devils because they are the one who promoted slavery. Even the Europeans, yeah, yes, the Europeans were the one who were doing the trade, the trades, but Americans, they even brought almost the natives, the native Indians, almost to extinct because they wanted that land. And then how can you discover land and when you find another species living on that land? You cannot discover that. It's like Jack Daniels saying I am Jack Daniels, but there is a black man behind that distillery. You understand? The
It,
history of a black man is never published because a black man will always be under a white man. But it's not so. We were not like this. Why do they say Monsa Musa was the richest man ever? Who took who took his riches after he was dead? Who took
exactly.
over the Benin? You understand? Now,
Exactly.
my brother. Like I always say, I always research. There is one video that I saw a black woman talking. She was like expressing herself, telling them that it's been 500 years, it's been 500, we've been taking our resources and we are empty now, but still you're still taking whatever we have now, we're still taking. What is it that we have to do that you to chase you away from Africa? They will never go away. For them to go away, it's when we fight back. And now to fight back, we need our youth. But our youth is so confused. It's so confused. It's so far away from the truth that it will take even 100 years for them to realize that, you know what? Here's the truth. Here is what is happening right now.
Exactly.
People should
So,
people
so my
should
brother,
wake up.
unfortunately, I have to end the live now. I've
Yes,
been live
I
for
know.
quite some time.
Yeah, the moment I joined you, you said it was gonna be 10 o'clock. So thanks for the time and thanks for listening to my own views and thanks very much. I will join you next Sunday.
No problem. No problem. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, everyone. Hey, cheers. Hey, good night, guys. Bye.
Night, night. Right, everyone. Why am it even raining? For joining the live. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for everything. Let me wish you a happy good night. Have a safe life. Let's unite our minds. Let's forward the knowledge. Let's get the information. Let's pass the information. Let's speak the information. Let's engage with our black people. And finally, let's love one another. Cheers.